Fully Loaded was the second fully loaded professional wrestling pay-per-view event produced by World Wrestling Federation. It was presented by Starburst and took place on July 25, 1999, at the Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo, New York. Matches were fought in a number of venues, including a parking garage. The main event was a first blood match for the WWF Championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated The Undertaker to retain the title by hitting him with a television camera and causing him to bleed after interference by X-Pac. The match stipulated that if Undertaker won, Austin would never wrestle for the WWF Championship, and if Austin won, the WWF Chairman Vince McMahon could never appear on WWF television. The undercard featured Triple H vs. The Rock in a strap match, Road Dogg and X-Pac vs. Mr. Ass and Shiner in a tag team for the rights to win the D-Generation X name, Ken Shamrock vs. Steve Blackman in an Iron Circle match, Big Show vs. Kane, Al Snow vs. Big Boss Man for the WWF Hardcore Championship, Mideon vs. Glow Brown for the WWF European Championship, Hardy Boys and Michael Hayes vs. The Acolytes in a handicap match for the WWF Tag Team Championship, and Edge vs. Jeff Jarrett for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. Background: Fully Loaded featured professional wrestling matches that involved different wrestlers from pre-existing feuds, plots, and storylines that were played out on Raw as World Wrestling Federation's flagship television program. Wrestlers portrayed a villain or a hero as they followed a series of events that built tension, and culminated in a wrestling match or series of matches. The main rivalry heading into the event was between Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker over the WWF Championship. At King of the Ring, Undertaker defeated The Rock to retain the WWF Championship. Later that night, Austin lost his position of on-screen WWF CEO to the McMahons in a handicap ladder match. On the June 28 episode of Raw is War, Vince announced that Undertaker would defend the title against Triple H at Fully Loaded. However, Vince's plans were ruined when Austin informed Vince of a contract, which he had written himself, and the contract stated that Austin would get a WWF Championship title shot later that night, and if Undertaker got disqualified, he would lose the title. Austin defeated Undertaker to win the title, but was attacked by Undertaker after the match. On the July 4 episode of Sunday Night Heat, Undertaker challenged Austin to a first blood match for the title at Fully Loaded. On the July 5 episode of Raw is War, Vince added a stipulation that if Austin won, Vince would never appear on television again, and if Austin lost, he would never receive a WWF Championship again. Another predominant rivalry heading into the event was between Triple H and The Rock. At King of the Ring, Triple H interfered in The Undertaker's WWF Championship defense against Rock and attacked Rock, costing him the title shot. On the June 28 episode of Raw is War, Rock attacked Triple H after Triple H offered Mr. Ass and Shiner to challenge Road Dogg and X-Pac to a match. On the July 5 episode of Raw is War, Rock defeated Triple H in a steel cage match. Rock and Triple H developed a rivalry, leading to a strap match between the two at Fully Loaded. On the July 19 episode of Raw is War, Jeff Jarrett defeated Christian to retain the WWF Intercontinental Championship. After the match, Christian's The Brood partner Edge appeared and a brawl occurred between Jarrett and Edge. As a result, Jarrett challenged Edge to a match for the Intercontinental Championship at Fully Loaded. On July 24, Edge defeated Jarrett at a live event to win the title. On the July 4 episode of Sunday Night Heat, Glow Brown attacked Mideon during a WWF European Championship defense against Al Snow, causing Snow to be disqualified. Heat July 18.2 c. 1999. On July 5 edition of Raw is War, Mideon attacked Brown during a WWF Hardcore Championship match against Snow, costing Brown the match. On the July 18 episode of Sunday Night Heat, Mideon distracted Brown and spitted in his face during Brown's match against Gangrel. This allowed Gangrel to defeat Brown for the victory. This led to a European Championship match between Brown and Mideon at Fully Loaded. At King of the Ring, Ken Shamrock lost his King of the Ring quarter-final match to Mr. Ass, when the referee stopped the match, due to Shamrock sustaining an injury at the hands of Steve Blackman in a match against Shane McMahon on the June 27 episode of Sunday Night Heat. On the June 28 episode of Raw is War, Shamrock and Blackman wrestled in a no-holds-barred match, which ended when Blackman attacked him with a kendo stick. On the July 18 episode of Sunday Night Heat, Shamrock challenged Blackman to an Iron Circle match. At King of the Ring, Hardy Boys defeated Edge and Christian to become the #1 contenders for the WWF Tag Team Championship. On the July 5 episode of Raw is War, Hardy Boys defeated the Acolytes to win the Tag Team Championship. On the July 12 episode of Raw is War, it was announced that Hardy Boys would defend the titles against Acolytes in a rematch at Fully Loaded. Mr. Ass won the 1999 King of the Ring tournament and issued an open challenge to all the wrestlers of WWF on the June 28 episode of Raw is War. Triple H then urged Mr. Ass and Chyna to challenge D-Generation X's remaining members Road Dogg and X-Pac to a match. On the July 5 episode of Raw is War, Road Dogg was arrested by the police as he was blamed by Mr. Ass and Chyna for vandalizing Chyna's car, but Chyna informed the police that it was not her car. On the July 12 episode of Raw is War, Road Dogg and X-Pac challenged Mr. Ass and Chyna to a match with the winning team earning the rights to DX's name at Fully Loaded. At King of the Ring, Kane defeated Big Show in the quarter-final round of the King of the Ring tournament. Later that night, Big Show cost Kane his semi-final round match against Mr. Ass. On the June 28 episode of Raw is War, Big Show cost Kane a match against Hardcore Holly. On the July 5 episode of Raw is War, Kane defeated Big Show and Holly in a handicap match after help from The Undertaker. Big Show and Kane continued to interfere in each other's matches and attack each other, leading to a match between the two at Fully Loaded. On the July 19 episode of Raw is War, Big Boss Man attacked Al Snow with his nightstick when Snow requested him to hit him after Snow had gone mad after his head was pierced by Prince Albert. On the July 12 episode of Raw is War Heat July 18.2c 1999 however, Bossman continued to attack Snow with the nightstick, leading to a match between the two for Snow's WWF Hardcore Championship at Fully Loaded Heat July 18.2c 1999. Event. Before the event aired live on pay-per-view, the pre-show Sunday Night Heat aired live featuring 3 matches. In the first match, Val Venis defeated Joey Abs by pinning him after a powerbomb. In the second match, The Godfather defeated Meat by pinning him after performing a Death Valley driver, which he called Pimp Drop. In the final match, Christian defeated Viscera by pinning Viscera with a roll-up after Christian's The Brood teammate Gangrel attacked Viscera. At the end of the Sunday Night Heat broadcast, WWE Champion Stone Cold Steve Austin was set to do an interview regarding his match later in the evening. As he was making comments, he was attacked from behind by his opponent, The Undertaker. Austin was lacerated, giving him a disadvantage in the first blood match. Preliminary matches. The first match that aired live on pay-per-view was a standard wrestling match for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. Edge defended the title against Jeff Jarrett. After a back-and-forth action, Jarrett targeted Edge's legs and shoulder, injuring it and continued to dominate Jarrett, until Edge performed a lifting DDT, which he called Impaler, on Jarrett and attempted to perform a spear, but Jarrett threw him outside the ring, where Gangrel attacked Edge as the lights went off. When the lights came back, Gangrel was shown laying down on the floor. Edge returned to the ring and speared Jarrett while Jarrett's valet Deborah distracted both Edge and the referee. Deborah was eventually thrown off the ring apron as Edge and Jarrett attacked each other. Gangrel interfered in the match and attacked Edge, allowing Jarrett to perform a forward Russian leg sweep, which he calls the stroke, to win the Intercontinental Championship. In the second match, Hardy Boys teamed with their manager Michael Hayes to defend the WWF Tag Team Championship against the Acolytes in a handicap match. Hardy Boys and the Acolytes started battling in the entranceway. The two teams made it to the ring where Hardy Boys dominated the Acolytes through their high-flying moves until Acolytes took control by using their strength and power. Hardy Boys controlled the Acolytes until Bradshaw performed a superplex on Matt and attempted to pin him, but Jeff hit Bradshaw with a cane. Jeff then tried to perform a high-flying move, but Bradshaw performed a lariat, which he called clothesline from hell, on Jeff. Farouk tossed Hardy Boys over the top rope, and then the Acolytes dominated Hayes and finished him with a double powerbomb to win the Tag Team Championship. The third match was a standard wrestling match for the WWF European Championship. Mideon defended the title against Lo Brown. Brown dominated Mideon for the earlier part of the match by performing a clothesline and a baseball slide until Mideon attacked Brown and dominated him outside the ring by ramming him into the ring steps. The action returned to the ring where Mideon controlled the match. Brown eventually regained his control and performed a frog splash, which he called Lowdown, on Mideon to win the European Championship. In the next match, Al Snow defended the WWF Hardcore Championship against Big Boss Man. Snow asked Boss Man in the entranceway to hit him with the nightstick, but Boss Man started attacking Head. That angered Snow and he started attacking Boss Man but was thrown into a closed steel trunk. The two started fighting each other and their action spilled to the backstage, where Snow and Boss Man hit each other with numerous objects and fought each other throughout the arena. Boss Man threw Snow into a gate and handcuffed him to the gate, where Boss Man hit him with a bottle and a metal rod and then pinned him to win the Hardcore Championship. The fifth match was a standard wrestling match between Big Show and Kane. Hardcore Holly served as the special guest referee. Big Show started dominating the match as he performed a military press slam over the top rope, sending Kane outside the ring. Kane returned to the ring where Big Show continued to dominate him. Big Show performed a sidewalk slam on Kane and attempted to pin him but got a near fall. Big Show attempted to perform an elbow drop but Kane avoided the move and started dominating the match. He performed a flying clothesline and attempted to perform a choker slam on Big Show, but Holly attacked on Kane's knee, allowing Big Show to take advantage and he thus chokeslammed Kane and attempted a pinfall. Holly made a fast count, and thus, Big Show won the match. After the match, The Undertaker came to the ring and attacked his brother. As he returned to the backstage area, he was attacked by Stone Cold, whom he had attacked earlier on Sunday Night Heat. The Undertaker was lacerated by Stone Cold, evening up the sides for their main event confrontation. The next contest was an Iron Circle match. It was contested in a parking garage. The rules of the match were that the first wrestler to get out of the cars would be declared the winner. Ken Shamrock competed against Steve Blackman. Shamrock and Blackman entered the circle and started fighting each other. Blackman tried to use a chain and a tire iron, however he missed both. Shamrock used a trash can and the same steel chain wrapped around his hand as weapons as the car unregistered trademark S horns sounded. Shamrock then choked out Blackman with the chain to win. Main event matches. The seventh match was a tag team match pitting Mr. Ass and Chyna against Road Dogg and X-Pac. The winning team would legally win the rights to D-Generation X copyright. Chyna was drop-kicked into Mr. Ass by Road Dogg until Mr. Ass was tagged in. Road Dogg and Mr. Ass battled each other while Chyna continued her interference. X-Pac was tagged in but was dominated by Mr. Ass. X-Pac tagged Road Dogg and Road Dogg entered the ring but the referee did not see the tag and Road Dogg was sent outside the ring. X-Pac was the legal competitor and was dominated by Chyna and Mr. Ass. Chyna started dominating X-Pac until X-Pac clotheslined her. Road Dogg and X-Pac started dominating the match as Road Dogg threw Mr. Ass out of the ring while X-Pac performed a Bronco Buster on Chyna. Mr. Ass tried to perform a clothesline on X-Pac but Chyna accidentally pulled X-Pac out of the way and was clotheslined by Mr. Ass. Road Dogg took advantage and performed a pump handle drop on Mr. Ass to win the rights to DX name. The final match on the undercard was a strap match between The Rock and Triple H, with the winner becoming the #1 contender for the WWF Championship and earning the title shot at SummerSlam. Rock and Triple H were both tied to a strap that connected both men. Both men used the leather strap to their advantage by attacking each other in the ring and outside the ring. Chyna eventually interfered in the match and distracted the referee, allowing Rock to perform a lifting side slam, which he called Rock Bottom on Triple H, and attempted to pin him but Triple H choked him through the strap. However, Rock performed a hip toss and a Samoan drop to keep his momentum. Triple H eventually took the strap off as he grabbed a chair but was hit with straps by Rock. Chyna distracted the referee again, allowing Mr. Ass to interfere and attack Rock with a club. Triple H got a near fall. Rock then performed a low blow and an elbow drop, which he called People's Elbow, on Triple H and attempted to pin him, but Mr. Ass pulled him off. Rock performed a rock bottom on Mr. Ass but as he turned around, Triple H took advantage and performed a double underhook facebuster, which he calls pedigree on Rock, to win the match. The main event was a first blood match for the WWF Championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin defended the title against The Undertaker. The match stipulated that if Undertaker won, Austin would never receive a WWF Championship title shot, and if Austin won, WWF Chairman Vince McMahon would never appear on WWF television again. The match started when Undertaker and Austin started battling each other in the entranceway and battled each other throughout the ringside area. Undertaker then picked up a chair and tried to hit Austin with it. He attempted it 4 times but failed to hit it even a single time. Austin then threw Undertaker into the steel steps but Undertaker did not bleed. Shane McMahon then interfered in the match and Austin hit him with a chair. Austin tried to hit Undertaker with it but Undertaker avoided it. Austin then performed a sight-out 3/4 Facelock jawbreaker, which he calls Stone Cold Stunner, on Undertaker. Vince McMahon then interfered in the match and tried to attack Austin with his crutch but Austin avoided it and attacked McMahon. Undertaker proceeded to hit Austin with a chair in the head. X-Pac then interfered and kicked the chair into Undertaker's head. Austin then picked up a television camera and hit Undertaker with it. When Undertaker rose to his feet, he was visibly bleeding. The two men continued to fight since the referee had been knocked out and unable to call for the bell. Undertaker then tried to perform a reverse belly-to-belly pilly driver, which he calls Tombstone Pilly Driver on Austin, but the referee came to, noticed Undertaker bleeding and called for the bell. The referee awarded the match to Austin and declared him the winner. As a result, Vince could no longer appear on WWF television. Aftermath. On July 26th edition of Raw is War, The Undertaker avenged his loss at Fully Loaded by attacking X-Pac and Road Dogg in the backstage area. Undertaker brought X-Pac to the ringside area to attack him more, causing X-Pac's tag team partner Kane to rescue him but he was attacked by Big Show. As a result, Undertaker and Big Show formed a tag team. Undertaker and Big Show started a rivalry with X-Pac and Kane. On the August 9th episode of Raw is War, X-Pac and Kane defeated the Acolytes for the WWF Tag Team Championship. At SummerSlam, Undertaker and Big Show defeated X-Pac and Kane to win the Tag Team Championship. After losing to Stone Cold Steve Austin at Fully Loaded, Undertaker challenged him to a rematch on August 2nd edition of Raw is War. Austin accepted the challenge but Triple H, who had become the #1 contender to Austin's WWF Championship at Fully Loaded, insisted that Undertaker would not get the championship match, resulting in a brawl. On August 9th edition of Raw is War, Jesse Ventura returned to WWF after 9 years as the special guest referee of the WWF Championship match at SummerSlam. Triple H confronted Ventura, causing the WWF Commissioner Shawn Michaels to force Triple H to compete against Austin and Undertaker in a triple threat match. However, later that night, Austin was found unconscious. Michaels blamed Triple H for the attack and replaced Austin with Chyna and announced that Triple H's status as the #1 contender would be on the line in the match. Chyna pinned Triple H and thus became the new #1 contender for the WWF Championship. On the August 16th episode of Raw is War, a returning Mankind helped Chyna in defeating Triple H to retain her status as the #1 contender to the championship. After the match, he challenged her for that spot but Chyna low-blowed him and refused but Michaels forced Chyna into defending her spot against Mankind. Mankind defeated Chyna to become the #1 contender, until Triple H attacked him after the match. Shane McMahon announced that Mankind would defend his #1 contender status against Triple H and appointed himself the special guest referee. Michaels made the match, a Falls Count Anyway no-holds-barred match and appointed himself the second referee. Mankind and Triple H both pinned each other. As a result, both men were declared contenders for the title and it was announced that Austin would defend the title against Mankind and Triple H in a triple threat match at SummerSlam. At SummerSlam, Mankind defeated Austin and Triple H to win the title. Results. References. External links: Fully Loaded 1999 at Online World of Wrestling.